Did you know Super Awesome Mix has an app? Go to the Apple App Store today and download Super Awesome Mix. It's free. You could start creating and sending your own digital mixtapes in just a few clicks. Also, there's links to our Instagram account and a link where you can follow your favorite podcast. Speaking of which, welcome back to another Super Awesome Mix. My name is Matt Sidholm, alongside my co-host and co-founder of Super Awesome Mix, Samer Abu Salbi. Samer, how we doing this week?
I am doing real well. I did not quit at doing this mix, which is good because that is the topic of today. You may have heard of such a thing as quiet quitting or the Great Resignation. And, you know, we were inspired to kind of put together a mix of songs and ask all of you, listeners and Instagram followers, to help us put that mix together.
Yeah, we're not encouraging people to quit, but we figured with so much quitting talk in the ether, if you will, it was probably appropriate for us to put together a mix of songs that, you know, would be appropriate if you were quitting a job. And luckily, we had a lot of great listener suggestions to help us along the way.
We certainly did, yeah. And it's funny because I think everyone had different takes on this. And so we'll explore the various ways and attitudes. You know, there's some where it very much was like, burn the bridge, I'm out of here. There's others where it was it was very like hopeful and a new start. It was really kind of fun to kind of get the take on, you know, everyone's take on what it means to kind of quit your job. And so that's a lot of fun. And so as always with our listener mixes, everyone, thank you so much for your suggestions. It's so fun to be able to get these and put these mixes together to do that. B, we will be shouting out your Instagram handles, your usernames, if you will, and almost assuredly we will be getting the pronunciation wrong. So let's just get that out of the way right now.
That's definitely going to happen.
For sure. But we'll do our best. And if we get it wrong, as one of our followers did sometime, they messaged us and told us exactly how to say their name, and so we learn. We will follow up on that if we hear from you. So with that, I'm gonna kick us off. So Matt's first pick here comes to us from basically everyone on the internet. I'll read through the names here in a moment. The song is Take This Job and Shove It by Johnny Paycheck, and it came to us from Ballroom Butterfly _M1385, Eric D. London, Dad03 Girls, longtime listener. We get a lot of great suggestions from him. Thanks for this one. I think it's like DJ Johnny Bravo _ Under the Influence. And then, of course, Matt actually suggested this song too. So this is top of the list.
Top of the list. Had to be the top of the list. I mean, it's right there in the title. Take This Job and Shove It, right? This was a song written by David Allan Coe. This guy hates the factory that he works at. He really hates it. And, I mean, his woman has left him, and he's got no reason to work there anymore. So, really, you know, you got to kind of wonder, what are you working for, right? What is that inspiration?
Right.
If that inspiration departs, maybe you're like, all right, I'm out of here. I don't need to work this stupid job anymore. But yeah, he really, really dislikes his job if you listen to this song. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like you said, it's right there in the title. There were two really funny things about this song for me. One, I'd never heard it, but I just knew from the title, I just knew it was going to be a country song. I knew it. I mean, there was no way with a title like that, it was going to be anything but country. And boy, is it a country song. So that made me laugh. Two, I got a kick out of it. So as you mentioned, it was written by David Allan Coe, who apparently was so peeved that Johnny Paycheck sang this song first. And then I guess, I don't know if he took credit for it or people just thought that he wrote that song and it was an original. But then he came out and wrote, I mean, he sang his own version of the song, like a year or two later, called Take This Job and Shove It Too, TOO. And I listened to that version because I was so curious about this. And like, I'm sorry, but it's the same song. Like, I don't, you know, and I understand he's just mad about him taking the lyrics, or the songwriting credit. But I don't know, like, you didn't do any better than he did. Like it's still it's like the same song.
Well, and anyone listening to it is like, man, this guy just ripped off Johnny Paycheck. Can't believe he'd do that.
Exactly. Exactly. Like I think it probably backfired more than it helped.
Probably so, yeah. I think they also made a movie out of this, like based on this song.
Okay, I
think
did
there
not
was actually
see that.
like a TV movie. It's called "Take This Job and Shove It," which was, amazingly enough, as many bad movies as I come on here and talk about, that's one I haven't seen. So maybe I'll add that to the queue. Okay.
I like it.
Yeah. All right. Our next user suggestion, track 2 on the mix, is "Today" by Smashing Pumpkins.
All right, and this came to us by Sky So Smart. That's SMRT, which I believe is a shout out to Simpsons when Homer is thinking that he is so smart. SMRT, smart. So great pick. And I learned again, something about a song that I've loved forever, and it just like I learned something new about a song that I've listened to for ages. I absolutely love this song by the Smashing Pumpkins, and it does have this really hopeful, like light kind of feeling to it. He's literally opening the song with "Today is the greatest day." And you want to believe that. And I always have all these years. But then, like many times, you go into the lyrics and you understand what happened behind the lyrics. And he's writing this sarcastically. He actually was suffering from depression and dealing with like clinical depression. And he's saying like, today's not the greatest day. And it's actually a pretty dark song as a result. But then I guess, similar to another song that we'll talk about, like Billy Corgan in many years later was like, okay, yeah, I guess I could see how people thought that was like a hopeful song. And so sure, let it be like a hopeful, happy song. That like, yeah, today could be, a great day. And so I think that's, I would imagine that's why this was picked as a great resignation song, because I have certainly felt that when I quit a couple of jobs where you just feel so free and it's like your life is beginning anew. And so I think that's how I would interpret this one.
Completely agree. Like this was one I've known for years and I've always thought of as just this super hopeful song. I read the same thing you did and I was like, oh man, because yeah, I feel like if you're leaving a job you hate, which I definitely have, just like you have, it is like, man, that could feel like the greatest day you've ever known. But yeah, kind of weird now to listen to this song because it's like, oh, he really was pretty unhappy when he read this, Although, or when he wrote this. But interestingly enough, he says like the sarcastic part of it is like it can't get any worse than that particular day. So that's why he kind of labels it "Today is the greatest day he's ever known." So I thought that was kind of interesting too, that sort of take on it. But still, yeah, definitely kind of ruined the song for me a little bit.
We might, we might have to do a recap mix at some point in this show where it's like songs that have been ruined because of this show. That's
right. Yeah, we did a little research and it's like, God damn it, I can't listen to that song ever again.
Exactly. All right, track 3 was submitted to us by @Esme0817, and they suggested "You've Got Another Thing Coming" by Judas Priest.
Okay, so Judas Priest themselves, right, they describe this as a great driving song, right? Like it's something where you want to listen to this and just like cruise on down the road, right? That's cool. So I think that's how maybe it relates to, quitting, right? You're driving away from that place as fast as possible. But also some of the lyrics here, it's like if you're leaving a job, it's kind of like, I'll show you guys, right? I'm out of here. I quit. Right? And even it's got the lyric I call out here is, "Out there is a fortune waiting to be had. You think I'll let it go. You're mad. You've got another thing coming." So it's like he's this sounds like an entrepreneur is what Judas Priest sounds like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's exactly the line I was going to call out too, which is why I believed it was perfect for quitting and getting out and starting something new. It reminds me of the scene in the show Silicon Valley where, of course they make fun of like the San Francisco and especially around like the app like craze, like that gold rush. And there's like a scene where someone at like a Staples or at a liquor store or something quits his job because he thinks that he just got an endorsement that his idea is really good. And he's going to become really wealthy with this like just terrible idea. And so he leaves his job to go pursue it. But I don't know. The way funding works out there, he might have actually raised like $20 million.
It could happen.
He's doing just fine. Yeah.
It could happen.
But yeah, I mean, this is a great song. I love the description of it being a driving song. It absolutely fits that. Just a great rock song. Definitely one of their signature sounds, and just a great guitar solo, like right in the middle of the track. So always a sucker for that.
All right, track 4, and Sammer, this could have been one that I would have suspected you suggested, but it is "Killing in the Name" by Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, this I was so happy that there's more Rage being shown on our on our podcast. This came to us from again DJ Johnny Bravo _ Under the Influence. So thank you for the suggestion. Always happy to talk about this band. I mean, this is like as anti-establishment as it gets. Like this is just it's a protest song specifically against police brutality. Came out after the Rodney King beating and then which sparked the LA riots. And so the lyrics here are describing that incident. And of course, Rage, like I said, is very anti-establishment. Like they sing a lot of protest music. But I think the part that stuck out to me, which is probably why I made the list, is the ending, like the outro, basically, where he just sings over and over, "F you, I won't do what you tell me." Of course, I'm cleaning that up a wee bit. And, it's so funny because a coworker of mine at one of the awful jobs I worked at, we would... Anytime we were in a meeting together, we'd be, of course, slacking each other while we're physically in a meeting together. And, people are like telling us dumb things to do. And we just would write that to each other over and over again. Like, "F you, I won't do what you tell me." Like that became our anthem because we were kind of like the rebels in the company where we would just decide like, yeah, we're not going to do any of that. And it worked out because like what we did end up doing always ended, working. But the ideas presented to us were so bad. So I really love that, and so I got a kick out of this being suggested.
Yeah, I love that this was suggested, and totally agree. There's so many bad ideas in a given workday when you work in an office that, that last line, "F you, I won't do what you tell me." I mean, I think that's very appropriate, and a lot of people probably felt the exact same way. Yeah, no, that's definitely a good one. And this is an awesome one if you're going to quit, right? If you're walking away, if there's some hard feelings, I mean, definitely this is a great song to walk away with as you're driving away from that building for the last time.
Exactly. This goes in that category of like bridge burning, where you are out.
This is definitely a bridge burning type situation.
All right. Track 5, a very different vibe here. Total mood shift. And it was suggested to us by Sizzle NE52. And it is "Let Go" by Frou Frou.
Yeah, major shift coming off of Rage Against the Machine. And also, this is not a burn the bridges kind of song. This is like, there's a line in here, there's beauty in the breakdown. And it's almost like if you're in a job where it's just a little too much, right? They're asking too much of you and you just need to walk away for your own sake. Then I think this is a good song to just let go of all that. So I thought it was a great choice. Would not have thought of this one myself. So love it when someone kind of takes a different tack with things. But definitely more of a kind of self-serving, like doing what's best for yourself instead of like just the F you vibe from a couple of the previous songs.
Yeah, exactly. One thing that I learned looking into this song is that the line, "You've 20 seconds to comply," she's pulling from RoboCop. And I never would have imagined that there'd be a RoboCop lyric in a Frou Frou song, which is so great.
I would not associate any Peter Weller films with Frou Frou, let alone RoboCop.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So well done to Imogen Heap for like putting in that Easter egg in this really kind of, like you said, whimsical, airy, light song. I think this is really just about, eliciting those feelings of letting go, of feeling free and leaving the stress and the breakdowns behind, as you said.
All right, so let's go back to kind of the hardcore Burn the Bridges song here. All right, track 6, we go "Cold Hard Bitch" by Jet.
Yes. This comes to us by actually a friend of mine at LibMags. And it's funny because I ended up texting her and I was like, "Wait, so why did you suggest this song?" I mean, it's a great song, but I felt like she would have like a really good story to it because I was
Yeah.
like, I gotta know. Like, this is such a particular song to suggest.
Right.
And, since I had the opportunity to text her and ask, I thought I would. So, she said in her words, it's like she wants to leave her job while this song is playing. And so that's what she wants to do. Like, she wants to hit play on this and tell everyone to just like quit. And so she wants to burn the bridge. And she said instead, anytime she's quit a job, especially one that she hates, she does so in a very polite and quiet manner with like a lot of thank yous and this has been great. And, like probably a traditional way that most people leave their job where it's like, oh, this has been such a wonderful journey. So in her fantasy, she could play this song and just like mic drop and walk out of there, which I love that story.
That's actually what I had in mind. Like when I was listening to it and kind of thinking like, okay, why is this song on this mix? I did think about, I mean, if you're going to leave, like, first, great rock song, and, second, just the message there. Maybe you're working for someone who fits that description, and you want to just call them that and walk away. I think it's a good call.
Yeah, exactly. I liked it. All right. Track number 7 here is brought to us, again, by DJ Johnny Bravo, _ Under the Influence, and it is Pretty Vacant by Sex Pistols.
Okay. So if you've ever sat through any corporate meetings when, there's the alleged funny office guy, I'm using air quotes, right? And,
sure,
you just kind of sit there and think to yourself, everybody's laughing at like a non-joke, but it's just not work related. So everybody's laughing because there's not even like a punchline. It's just not something related to work. So everyone laughs at it. And this is what that's the image that came to mind when I was listening to this song and just this song title. Because I'm like, everybody here is just like pretty vacant. Like they just want to be somewhere else. And if you're thinking that may not be the best place for you to work. Maybe it's time to walk away if you think everybody around you is just pretty vacant.
Yeah, I love that. I could definitely see that relationship. And there's definitely points in a job where I feel like I'm just hollow on the inside where I'm sitting there. It just like scoops the soul right out of you and you just are wondering, what am I doing?
By the way, we've reserved the website name Super Awesome Career Counseling. So, I mean, go ahead and send us your resume. Let's talk about your work situation. We'll counsel you.
Yeah.
Through it. Yeah.
We'd be happy to consult. Yes. Super Awesome Career Counseling. I love it. I'm going to have to go buy that domain now. This is getting expensive every time we claim. For the record, by the way, just a quick aside, we do now own superawesomemarketing.com, and I believe there was another one too that I bought, which is so great. The internet is a wonderful place.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. But yes, other than the title, I think obviously like punk is just very anti-establishment. The Sex Pistols famously are very anti-establishment, and so I also imagine it's just like really good. It's a really good genre of music to want to like quit and walk away and like, put your finger at someone and be like, I'm out of here. Like, this isn't for me.
Right.
This is what I think. This is what I think of your system and your job and all of that. So I have to imagine that there's some motivation there for picking them particularly.
All right, so let's go to track 8. This is the last listener-selected song or listener-suggested song, and it is Dirt Off Your Shoulder by Jay-Z.
Yep, and again, this one comes to us by Sky So Smart. So thank you again to everyone who suggested. Pretty much everyone suggested take this job and shove it, and then we got some other ones in there.
Yeah,
so.
It was pretty much, if you made a suggestion, you made the mix, because 90% of the suggestions were Johnny Paycheck. But look, credit to Johnny Paycheck, right? I mean, he wrote that song himself. I'm sorry, I just received a note. Apparently, it was written by David Allan Coe, and he never got credit for it. I apologize to David Allan Coe. But Sam, you were saying Dirt Off Your Shoulder?
Yeah. Sorry. Yep. Dirt Off Your Shoulder by Jay-Z. So, I mean, a wonderful song. I don't know what to say here. I love this song. I imagine the vibe here, again, it's like dirt in this song is kind of representing people trying to bring him down. So it's very similar to me thematically to Taylor Swift's like Shake It Off. Like, you gotta shake it off. Like, brush that dirt off your shoulder. You are too big to care. You're too awesome to care. Like, there's always gonna be haters out there, and you gotta brush them off. You gotta shake it off. Like, just do you. And so, I also really want to call out. Like, again, I mean, lines in rap songs are famously so amazing, like the lyrical work. But this one is in particular I really liked. Like a running back, get it, man? I'm straight off the block. And I just thought that's so clever. There's so many different ways to take that, right? Like, I love that. Straight off the block, with the double meaning there being a running back. But what I especially loved is whenever I was reading this comment and there's like user comments on lines where everyone's kind of interpreting it. The top rated comment was like, yeah, we get it, Jay-Z. Like, thank you. Like, you don't need to ask us if we get it. Like, we got it. I got a kick out of that.
That's great. Yeah, I love this song. This could have made our strut mix, right? Because this would be a great song to just, if you're feeling pretty good about yourself, walking away from the office, right? Not like in a Jerry Maguire sort of way, right? Like, you're just strutting out of that office. You've just moved up in the world. This would be a great one to walk away from a job for. So, good suggestion.
I agree. Yes. All right. So the last four are 2 picks are Matt's and 2 picks are mine, as per usual. And we're going to begin with Matt's first pick, and it is "I Want to Break Free" by Queen.
Yeah. I mean, who hasn't felt this way working in a job before, right? Like, you want to break free. And I just think, I mean, if we have a chance to feature another song by Queen, like, why wouldn't we take advantage of that? I found interesting about this, though, not to get off too much on a tangent here, but I guess the music video for this was really controversial. And so we've talked about music videos in recent episodes, and so I went back and watched this, and it's like 2 distinctive parts where the first part, all the members of the band are dressed as women and kind of depicting this home life that Freddie Mercury's trying to break free from. And then the second half of it is like done with this like ballet company. And there's all these just bodies on top of each other. And apparently it was considered way too racy at the time. But you watch it now and it's pretty tame. Like, right. I did not watch this video and be like, oh my goodness. But apparently when it came on, this was like one of the most controversial videos of, approximately, early 80s when this came out.
Wow. Well, everyone who was offended by that video, like, I hope they're alive to watch like WAP by Megan Thee Stallion's music video.
You watch this and I'm like, well, here comes the controversy. Anytime now. Wait, there's only 30 seconds left. Okay, it's an ad for Liberty Mutual. Okay, I guess we're done. Well.
That's so funny. I think about that all the time, where it's like I look at some of these music videos and I'm like, wow, like, we really have pushed boundaries on like what musicians are doing, which I personally think is awesome. Like, I love it, but it's just so funny to me because, as we do a lot of research in these things, like, even lyrics sometimes are too edgy to be played on the radio, and as we've talked about with some picks. So it's so funny how that has changed over the years. That's awesome. I'll have to go and watch that video. You should.
I think you'll get a kick out of it. You'll just be like, now what was the controversial part? Where was it again? Yeah, there's not. All right, Sammer, your first pick, you went with Good Riddance, parentheses, Time of Your Life by Green Day.
Yeah, I mean, we featured this one before on our graduation mix, and as we talked about on that mix, this is not a like happy song. This is not like this was such a this was the time of my life. Like, this is a breakup song. He wrote it about breaking up with someone, hence the title, like, Good Riddance. Like, he's done with this person. So I wanted to bring it back in that context, in the actual proper context that he wrote this song for. Because I do feel that way, right? It's like again, like, as we've talked about, sometimes you finish a job and truly it's like good riddance to that job. I'm so happy I'm done with that. Like, it was, quote unquote, the time of my life. I imagine that's kind of, said very sarcastically. And so, I'm trying to put this back in the category of, like, this is not a happy song. People really need to stop singing it and setting it to montages at the end of years and stuff. Or worse, like using them in like a wedding video or something.
Well, I think this is going to go the way of Born in the USA, which we talked about. I mean, it's played during every fireworks display on an annual basis, and like it's about
Right.
the mistreatment of Vietnam vets, right? And so I think this will go the way of that, where, 2 decades from now, they'll still be like, oh man, I had the time of my life. I love you. And it's like, yeah, this
Yeah,
is saying beat it. Okay. This is not a happy song.
exactly. Yeah. Oh well, I'll try. And there may be no coming back for that because, as I mentioned in the with Billy Corgan's Today and Smashing Pumpkins, he finally was just like, Green Day was like, yeah, okay, fine. Like I can understand why people think that this is the song that they think it is. Sure, he just has given up himself. All right, your last pick, track number 11 on our mix. You went with Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John.
Yeah, this is an awesome song. So I mean, why not include it on a mix? But I think it's great for leaving a job. It's like I finally decided my future lies beyond the yellow brick road. Right? You can't put me in a penthouse. I'm going back to my cloud. It's like, it speaks to a little bit of freedom. Wanting a little bit more freedom than maybe what exists on the well-worn path. So I've always loved this song, but I think it's really appropriate if you are leaving a work situation and hopefully moving on to something better.
Yeah, I really like that. I loved the song. I thought it was really beautiful. Apparently, he writes it about kind of leaving, that crazy city life and going back to like nature and giving up a life of richness and wealth. And I'm not sure that Elton John himself ever did that, but it's a nice topic. It's a nice thought. um, and yeah, I mean, really beautiful song. And we don't have enough Elton John picks, so I was kind of happy that you could bring him up on a mix.
That's a great point. That's definitely an extensive catalog that we have not really scratched the surface of. So, yeah, it may get us going in that direction. I feel like once we stumble upon an artist like this, that one of us is like, yeah, why don't we include more of that? Then we just kind of go on a run of just a lot of that artist. So, yeah, maybe this will
Totally.
start that. Yeah. All right, the last pick, and I think this is a fantastic one to end on and a fantastic and appropriate song for this mix. You picked Best Day of My Life by American Authors.
Yeah, I mean, just one of the happiest songs ever. This goes into that mix of like pure joy, similar to a mix that we did several episodes back. Like this easily could have been on there. So I was happy to be able to introduce it in this context. And I mean, banjos, I love banjos. They always make me smile, except maybe when they're played by like Mumford and Sons, in which case somehow they make me sad. They found a way to make banjos sad. But yeah, I love that the banjo opens up the song. I mean, this is a vibe, that I absolutely relate to whenever I've quit really like toxic jobs or toxic managers and you leave them and you're like, truly, this is the best day of my life. Like it's a whole new lease on life. Like I said before, you get all this time back. I remember I left this one job, in recent years, and I was describing to a friend, it's like all of a sudden you find it's as if like you're in a really crowded room with a lot of noise and a lot of like chaos and you feel like you're suffocating, and then you just find this like secret door that no one else knows about, and you go out that door and then it's just calm and quiet and you're like in a peaceful nature valley somewhere and it's like just a whole new start. Like that's how I felt when I quit that job. It was glorious.
I love that. So, what a great description. Yeah. No, this is a great pick. I completely agree. Like really happy song. Like definitely I can imagine listening to this, leaving a job and moving on to something like let's say you started a podcast with someone and it took off so much that you could both quit your regular jobs and just work on the podcast, But maybe to do that, you would need like everyone listening to share the podcast with like 5 of their friends, right? And I know it's a super specific hypothetical, but I feel like just throwing it out there right now that maybe that would be the best day of your life, if you were to do
that really would,
like
yeah.
That. Yeah.
I mean, in that crazy idea of yours, yeah, that would be great.
All right. Well, there you have it. Again, we're not advocating quitting, okay? And hopefully you love where you work, you love your job. But amidst all this talk of quiet quitting and the great resignation, we thought a mix about quitting a job would be very appropriate. So there you have it. Another super awesome mix for your collection. We're certainly not quitting. We've got plenty of mixes to work on. So for Sammer, this is Matt, and we'll see you next time. Super Awesome Mix is brought to you by DLM. Make shopping easy with DLM, the one-stop shop for all your casual clothing needs. Shop DLMsupplyco.com and enter the promo code AWESOME at checkout to save 15% off your first purchase. That's DLMsupplyco.com.